are tuned in to the NUC NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show.
Welcome back to the NUC NFL Draft Bibles Players Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Chris Chanafel, and we are presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. To nominate a player for the third annual College Gridiron Showcase and Symposium, log on to cgsallstar.com. Stay tuned for our 2017 College Gridiron Showcase watch list presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, which will be posted immediately following the 2016 NFL Draft. And joining the Player Spotlight Show now is Sharrod Neasman, the defensive back out of Florida Atlantic University. And Sharrod, you have quite the story. So we're just going to start off right there. I mean, coming out of high school, you weren't highly recruited at all. Can you just share with us exactly how you landed at FAU?
Yes, well, out of high school, I wasn't highly recruited, like you said. I had a head coach that got into some things. He ended up losing his job. All recruiting things fell off from there. My coach, an interim coach, took over. He then left after the season was over, my senior season. And he left also, so we were left out to dry, me and the rest of the seniors in my class. So what I did was took it upon myself to, reach out to different schools. I made a highlight. I made it myself in one of my graphic design classes. As a senior, I had a bunch of electives. So, I made my own highlight, sent it to different teams, all over Florida, different D1 teams, because, I decided I figured that I was good enough to play D1 ball. I knew I was, and I wasn't gonna let that deter me not getting recruited by a team. So, like I said, I reached out to these different teams. No one really got back with me. So a family friend of mine was a head coach at a school, and those head coaches have better relationships with these colleges than I would. They wouldn't even probably open up an email from a high school student because they get thousands of them. So. He got me in touch with a guy here at FAU. FAU was one of my top choices. I was coming into a new coaching staff, so I figured that was my best shot. I came on. I got in touch with the guy here. His name was Jeff Sims. Spoke to him. Had a meeting with him. He watched my highlight. He said, "Okay, this is what I can do. I can't promise you any." I can't promise you any spot on the team, like a preferred walk-on, so you get a spot, but I can, have you come out, try out. I can tell the head coach about you, and, if we have enough room and you show us what you got, we can put you on the team. So that was enough for me. All I needed was an opportunity. So I did that. I made the team. From there, I just been working from there. My junior year, I got a scholarship, and from there, I've just been, working to achieve more towards my ultimate dream, which is to play in the NFL.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes you have to just grind away and use all of your resources in order to get to where you want to be at it. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did. You said it. You're finally given a scholarship, or I shouldn't say given. You earned a scholarship your junior year. Can you talk about that moment? I got to think that was pretty big for you.
Yeah, that was a pretty big moment. But like I said, it was picture. That was just a step to the process. I knew that I had the opportunity to play in the NFL if I took advantage of the opportunities I was given, and just each phase of it, I just kind of took it for what it was and moved on. I got the scholarship. It wasn't like it was a great moment. Of course, having your school paid for. I know there's plenty of students all over Florida that wish they could have that taken care of for them. So it was a great accomplishment, but, I took it for what it was and moved on and transitioned to the field and how I'm going to get on the field. I'm going to make an impact on the field and, to take it to the next level.
You knew there was more work to be done, and that season, your junior year, you began seeing a lot of time on the defensive side of the ball. You were the Owls' starting nickelback, and then this past season as a senior, Sharrod, you moved to safety. Talk about that transition if you could. I mean, was it difficult to make that transition, and what would you say is the biggest difference between playing the two positions?
Well, between nickel and safety, it's a big difference of position. What helped me was that I know defense very well. So I knew how the pieces of the puzzle kind of click together. So I knew, if the nickel does this, I do this. The safety does this, the linebackers do that. So I kind of already knew defense real well, so the transition wasn't as hard. However, it's a big difference playing in and as a safety, you playing in space. You don't really have most of the time you don't really have a man that you're covering. Well as a nickel, we played a lot of man-to-man, so I was playing press man. I didn't have to see as much. At safety, you have to see everything. You have to be helping the run, but you don't have a gap that you're responsible for. Our team was a gap that was responsible for. They would just kind of knock down safety. Wherever the ball spits out, that's when you go make the play. And that was the difference between safety and nickelback. In nickelback, you had a gap, and if it was run, you went to your gap. Everything was definite. If there was a man and we were playing man, you had your man. And safety, you're playing in space, not just the mental aspect of it, but the physical aspect of it as well. It's tough coming down from space. You're 20 yards deep playing middle of the field, and then there's a run, and it busts out, and you have to knock that ball down. So coming back in space and making that tackle, it's a tough thing to do for a safety. So this year is my first year getting that experience, and it was a lot different from nickel. But I think I handled it pretty well.
Yeah, I think you did as well, Sharrod. You recorded a career-high 74 tackles, 3 interceptions this past season as a senior. You're also voted a team captain, which I have to think is, a pretty cool honor, especially seeing as, you're coming in as a tryout and now to leave as a team captain, I got to think is pretty cool. So a pretty big senior year, followed by a monster pro day in which you ran a 40-yard dash, 6.78 3-cone, a 37-inch vertical, 10.8 broad jump, and 25 reps of 225 pounds on the bench. Where was it that you were training at for your pro day, and what was your mindset heading in?
I trained at a spot right here in Boca. I'm still in school, so there's a spot right here in Boca. A great trainer. His name's Tony Villani. His facility is named Extreme Sports Enhancement, XPE. And it was a great experience. I got to work with him. He taught me the techniques, and him and his staff, a great staff, they taught me the techniques of running, the techniques of, all these drills that we just done off of, athleticism, not really learning the steps, what's the most efficient way to do them. And so, I was taught all the steps and how to run and all that stuff. So that improved my times and my numbers significantly.
Was there any questions about your game that you wanted to answer in front of the scouts there in attendance? Was there anything you wanted to prove or show the scouts that you were capable of doing, what it may have been that they've questioned?
Yes, for sure, my versatility. I don't know if many scouts knew that I had played nickelback my junior year. So that nickelback is kind of, safe, a cornerback, because you got to play man-to-man, press man-to-man, and also kind of like a linebacker. So you got to be that in-between guy. You got to be physical enough to go in and help in the run and be an impact in the run, and then you got to be able to guard someone man-to-man. So I think with my size, I weighed in my pro day at 206, and I ran a 4.55, and I moved real well on my shuttles, and I jumped high and all those different things. So I think that showed them how well I can move. And if needed, I can play all over the backfield at the NFL level. So I just, that's one of the main things that I wanted to show going into my pro day, and I would want scouts to know about me.
Okay, your versatility, and obviously I could just tell by speaking with you, Sharrod, and you mentioned it when you made that transition from nickelback to safety, that you kind of already had an idea of what you would have to do at safety, but I could just tell you have a high football IQ, which obviously goes a long way as well. What has some of the feedback been like since your FAU Pro Day? Have you been able to chat with any scouts or NFL personnel?
Yes, I've talked to a few scouts and coaches and things like that. I've had workouts and/or visits with the Miami Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Falcons, who else? The Broncos. I met with that guy, a scout for the Broncos. And I may be leaving out teams, but the Lions but I've had an opportunity to sit down with a few coaches and talk football now. That the pro day is over, so we can get back into the football aspect of the game after the measurables and everything has been taken care of. But talking to different teams, I've done that since my pro day has ended.
And I think that's a very exciting time, especially now that the pro day is behind you. I got to think that you're just ready to get back out on the field. Somebody hand you a helmet, somebody hand you the pads, and I'm sure you're ready to start playing some safety, some defensive back for an NFL team out there again. We have the 2016 NFL Draft prospect, Sharrod Neasman, the safety out of Florida Atlantic University, joining us here on the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. And Sharrod, you said it that you've always wanted to play in the NFL. It's always been a dream of yours. When did it become more clear that a professional football career may be in your future? When did you realize that you had a legit shot at making football your job?
Well, it really came as I, watched my teammates. I have a few former teammates that I played with that made it to that level and succeeded at that level. So once I actually saw it, I saw a person, I saw the work ethic and the determination and the hard work and everything it takes to get to that level. I saw how they handled themselves to get to the level that they got to. That's when it really became a goal and not just a dream. As a child, I knew no one who played in the NFL. I had no, older sibling or uncle that I could talk to, and he told me what he did, the steps he took. So once I got here, I was fortunate to play with a lot of good guys, and I watched how they work and I watched how they prepare. So once I got to see that and, just kind of mimic that, I knew, okay, this if I take care of my business, I got a shot. So that made it reality.
Yeah, I think it's very encouraging to see guys that you're lining up with at one point or another, get a shot there at the NFL. Let's say you're able to recommend one game over the last 4 years to an NFL scout to go back and check out. What game are you suggesting?
If it was one game, I'll probably pick the most relevant year. So I'll probably say the University of Florida versus FAU game.
Okay. Who do you think was the best single player that you've played against over the last 4 years? Was there ever a wide receiver you knew heading into that week that you had to bring your A game no matter what?
Yeah, there was. The single most best player probably be Amari Cooper. We played Alabama my junior year as well as my freshman year. And Amari Cooper would be one of the best guys that I played against as a defensive back.
Hey, good choice. Good choice. Obviously did a lot there at Alabama and is certainly picking it right back up in the NFL with the Oakland Raiders. One of the top young wide receivers already in the NFL. Just a few more questions, and then we'll let you go, Sharrod. Really do appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. Give us a brief scouting report on yourself. What would you say is your biggest strength, and what is one thing you feel the need that you can still improve on?
My strengths, I would say, let's start with my weaknesses. My weaknesses, I would say, as far as transitioning to safety, I could use some help, approaching the tackle in space, coming downhill, angles. Sometimes I tend to get over aggressive. I get my feet a little wild. I'm approaching the tackle. I am an aggressive player, so sometimes I tend to get over aggressive and my feet get wild and out of place, and that causes me troubles. I would say one of my strengths is playing man-to-man, because I did make that transition from once a corner, then a nickel, then the safety. So I can play man-to-man real well when we are in the package and, one of the safeties spins down to cover man-to-man. I go down and play man-to-man. I think I cover man-to-man real well. I think I see the field real well. I think I cover the field real well. Also, being back deep, I think I react fast. I pick up on schemes, and that comes from watching a lot of film. but yeah, those would be the strengths, that I would name off if I had to do a scouting report on myself, like you said.
Is there a current or former NFL defensive back that you've tried to model your game after, maybe take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto your own?
Well, I wouldn't say model my game after. There is an NFL player that, I just try to better myself. That's why I wouldn't try to model my game after that person. I would just try to work on what my weaknesses, better myself. But one person that I do look up to, Ed Reed. I think he's a great ball player. His passion for the game is unmatched. So yeah, I would say Ed Reed.
Hey, one of the all-time greats right there, Ed Reed, certainly a future Hall of Famer. Final question. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're listening to this very interview. Why should they want the defensive back out of Florida Atlantic University, Sharrod Neasman, a part of their team?
They should want Sharrod Neasman a part of their team because I'm going to show up to camp in shape, ready to work. I'm going to do what my coach is asking me. I'm going to learn the playbook. On my own time, I'm a be prepared for anything they throw my way. Be ready to play on all special teams. Be willing to play on all special teams, and just come in and just go to work. I think they'll also want to get me on their team because I'm just versatile. I can play all over the defensive backfield. If they were to get short in one area, corner, nickel, safety, whatever, I can be that hybrid guy to just fill in. So that's pretty much what I would tell them.
All right. Hey, sounds good, Sharrod. We appreciate you taking some time to call into the show this afternoon. Really cool story, and I want to congratulate you on a very successful collegiate career there at FAU, and we're certainly wishing you all the best.
Thank you.